Good evening, everyone. I hope the weekend was good to you. A kind of unscheduled little video. It was just something that's been kind of floating about my head to do, and me and Connor at FI Manager got together earlier today to try and get some videos out, but we have a technical glitch, so expect to see them later on in the week at some point. But for today, we're going to be chatting over should you buy goalkeepers. Okay, so it's something that I've done myself quite regularly. I think I've probably dipped in and out of maybe 4 or 5 goalkeepers on my time at Football Index. And the thing is goalkeepers have only had any kind of solid appeal since IPDs were introduced and they got that clean sheet dividend added to them. Otherwise, guys, as you know from a treble match day kind of scenario, where are we looking at? Sorry, dividends. Treble match day, all these types of things. They've got to be winning best defender / goalkeeper on that day, and the way the matrix pans out with things like passes and tackles and goals scored and assists, crosses, all that type of thing. Goalkeepers are very, very rarely, because saves obviously count towards points and distribution and that type of thing, but it's so heavily weighted against them in a lot of scenarios and a lot of matches that it's very rare, very rare. I think I've seen Lloris pick up and maybe I'm sure Ederson and Alisson Ederson I've picked up dividends as well, maybe once last season each, maybe twice. You guys can check that out on Index Gain or whatever you want and let me know. But the point remains, goalkeepers don't pick this up at all often enough to really make them worthwhile, and you'll find them all quite easily under the kind of, really, I think De Gea's the most expensive goalkeeper outside Alisson and Ederson at 75 pence. Alisson, I believe, is the most expensive off the top of my head. Let's check out Alisson. Maybe it's 1L, sorry. Is he in the top 200? Oh my god. Is he in the top 200? That's weird. I wonder if I put in Becker. Sorry guys, I should have probably searched this up before, but this is so weird. Alisson. Why can't I find him? Can somebody help me? I know this is a video that's pre-recorded, and as you're shouting at your phone telling me what I'm doing wrong, I've already done it, and hopefully by the time you're watching this I've learned what I was doing wrong. And we find him eventually. I might give up on it, saying I'm going to give up. What is wrong with me today, honestly? Alisson. Jesus. I'm tripping balls. Right, if I can't, yeah. I've not been able to find Alisson on Football Index. Someone please tell me what I've done wrong. Ederson, we found him. 69 pence. He's cheaper than De Gea. But I'm sure Alisson is the most expensive goalkeeper in it. Or he was last time I seen him anyway. So if he's more expensive than them two, it must be... He can't be in the top 200, say. We'll look for him as we talk, okay? But so the thing with goalkeepers is they only have really one dividend available to them, and no one really, gets in their way, if that makes sense. And I'll explain that as I finish saying that, right? But it's not as if I had Raheem Sterling last season, and I can't remember the game, right? But I'm sure he scored like 4 goals and made an assist or something like that. And he didn't win dividends, because somebody else scored 2 goals or something like that. One of them was a penalty. Something ridiculous like that, just because the way the Matrix is structured and what it promotes and what it... I'm an idiot. Everyone who's been putting in the comment section below 2 S's, feel my pain. I feel your pain. I'm terribly sorry. But Alisson's the most expensive goalkeeper. What was I going to say? Yeah, so you don't need to worry about that type of thing. Oh, if somebody else plays amazing, they won't get treble match. If you're buying players, that type of thing. If they keep the clean sheet, they keep the clean sheet, and that's as simple as that. And because they're all very cheap, second expensive to 89 pence is De Gea at 75, and it's Ederson at 69, and everyone, a good portion of the goalkeepers who you'd probably buy are below 50 pence. Okay, now. With that being stated, right, the only thing available to them really of note is that clean sheet bonus they get. What I managed to make a bit of success of, and you'll know this yourself already if you've watched the fantasy football kind of thing, and you've seen what we did with Handanovic last year, as well as Oblak and De Gea, that kind of trifecta was on the go there, is we traded in and out of these guys, in and out with their form and their fixture list, you know. So we bought some Handanovic, we got a couple of clean sheets, we took a nice hike on his price, we sold him, and then we went to somebody else for a fresh 30 days and a fresh set of potential clean sheets. And that's how we kind of rode it through. And then when I was doing my full profit and loss, I think we started off with something like 25 of... what goalkeeper did we start with now? Was that Handanovic? I'm sure we started off with like 25, and now we have 38 of them, right? Now, fair enough, there's and in effect that as well, there's also a difference in price. You know, we now have 38 Oblak, who's like 60 pence, and I'm sure we started with Handanovic, and he has always been cheaper than these guys because he's a bit older, okay? But as the season is about to unfold in front of our eyes, everyone's getting their portfolio ready for match days. We're buying and selling players now based on the fixture lists that are starting to get drip fed to us and who we think can have a good season and all that type of thing. And this is definitely one thing that I don't think you should overlook too much, or you should overlook at all, I should say, I beg your pardon, because the thing with goalkeepers is it's a great place to put your money, just to, you know, if you don't, so I've not made a deposit into this account for a good couple of weeks now, you know. I think I had my transaction history on a second ago, you'll see it yourself, you know. I've not made a deposit, made a wee withdrawal there, media purchase, so purchased, cancelled. I went to sell players and changed my mind. I told you about that before. I can't see my last deposit. My last deposit looks to be on the 24th of June, you know, so basically 3 weeks ago, and it was only £10 or so. It's just some change. But sometimes you won't have something that you're itching to buy, like, oh, I've been tracking his prices at the perfect position, let's go for him. And these guys are overall very stable. Obviously Alisson's been on a lovely upward turn really since the IPD came in. He got this big stick here. The IPD came back in at the kind of midway point through the first half of the season, if that makes sense, from memory, before Christmas anyway. And that's why he's took a big spike up to £1. He's dipped down in and out with he's actually getting clean sheets and not. And that's how the goalkeepers' pricing works, is if they get a clean sheet or two, their price is going to inflate and rise, especially if the fixture list ahead looks kind. But as they don't keep clean sheets, their price stagnates or maybe goes slightly backwards, depending on how the fixture list looks ahead, in front of them, how it looks ahead. Another goalkeeper I just want to touch on is Buffon. Okay, so Buffon has recently went back to Juventus, and we've seen a little bit of a price movement. He did go up to 37 pence when that was announced, and whatever, he's back down at 34. What's basically been said with this guy is he's been guaranteed 10 games, and must be in the league obviously to get a medal for it. Or whatever, he's been guaranteed a certain amount of matches so that he's going to pick up medals, he's going to be involved. It still says that Chesney is going to be first pick, okay, but Buffon's been brought back, I think, for some of the bigger matches. I think, personally, I don't know how to spell Chesney, I'm not even going to go down that again. 42 pence, you know. So, what was I going to say? Sorry. Yeah, so I think, see when Buffon went to PSG and then after that they signed Ronaldo. Imagine you were Buffon, I felt so bad for him. And they brought back Bonucci from AC Milan. If you were Buffon, you'd have felt like, oh my god, this is going to be the year that they're going to win the Champions League. Obviously they didn't, but now they've brought in Delict and whatever, so Buffon needs to win the Champions League. I think we all know that. So he's went back there, and let's hope he does it from a neutral perspective. But you've just seen the prices of all the kind of really the top goalkeepers in the continent I've showed you so far, and all of them are very affordable. They're all very cheap, and again, if you're to find a good run of fixtures, and you can see how their graphs all look pretty much the same in terms of if you put cross section with these movements, with performances, and with clean sheets achieved when the dividend came out, and all this stuff as well, you'll see they do all follow patterns and trends, and it's definitely something that you could easily start off with a goalkeeper. Maybe not Buffon, I'm not overly convinced he's going to play. But what's the guy at Roma? Is it Olsen? Robin Olsen. How much is he? 25 pence. Wow. So you could definitely buy 100 Olsen. Let's even see Roma's fixtures. That's just kind of occurred to me about Robin Olsen as we've been chatting. I had another suggestion in mind, but let's go with this. They're in Europe as well. Roma are always strong enough. The fixtures for Italy aren't out yet. But again, you know, 25 pence, 26 pence before fixtures, you know, So you could easily start with Robin Olsen as an example, or another goalkeeper of a similar price range where you could buy 100 of them and it would be a safe transaction, money wise, you're not overexerting yourself, not stretching your budget, whatever. And you could easily roll that around with a bunch of goalkeepers, around their form with clean sheets and how the fixtures are going to pan out throughout the season with Champions League and other things like that as well, okay? But the kind of cherry on the cake for this, right, is I think we're going to have in it's hard to put a time scale on these things. You have no control, or there's very little to guide your opinion on such a thing. But I think if we have a change to IPDs in general and play, not IPDs, I beg your pardon, but PB and how the matrix and all that kind of thing structured, if they do a revamp of that, I definitely think there'll be something that makes goalkeepers much more of a serious proposition in terms of where you should be putting your money, because it's in Football Index's best interest for there to be as many alternatives in the marketplace for you to buy and make money as possible. That is basically what keeps their engine moving. And goalkeepers is definitely something I think we'd all agree in terms of on the football pitch, something that is undervalued by the matrix, by the scoring system, and ultimately by users on the index as well. So even though there's good money to be made, and I believe you can roll these players over very easily if you're well planned and disciplined with, like, so for example, let's say we bought up some Lloris, right? Now I know they've got City early on, I made that mistake in a video recently, right? So, but this will actually paint as quite a good example as soon as my phone loads and gets us to the fixtures we want to see. So Tottenham have a rocky start, right? Now with Lloris not getting a clean sheet, his price will move backwards, whatever it is before the match starts to afterwards. That's a fact. People will drop him, right? So I don't know what price he'll be come that match or how quickly it is. I'm sure it's opening day of the season, in fact, but maybe it's not. This is just doing my nutting. I'm going to pause the video. Bit of a technical glitch there, sorry guys, but Tottenham's fixtures. So the round Lloris is trading at 43 pence. Chances of them getting a clean sheet against Aston Villa are not poor. But opening day of the season, first game back in the Premier League for Villa, you'd be surprised they didn't go for it and make a good chance at it. But the chance for the clean sheet is there. So even between now and then, its price will rise. It's easy enough to sell them when it's on a rise, especially if it's looking like a half-time they're getting a clean sheet. Like selling a goalkeeper even at that time isn't a guarantee, but there's a good chance you can shift them quickly. You let that game pan out, you might miss out on a penny, who cares? You wait for the City game to come along, its price drops further, and then you'd have a great opportunity to pick him up ahead of that Newcastle game. I think we all see Newcastle as really, this whole Steve Bruce thing and all is a bit of a joke, isn't it? He's quit Sheffield Wednesday after. I think that's pretty rotten, to be honest with you. They gave the guy a month off, which, it's a funny, I don't want to get into it, to be honest with you. I don't even know why I started, but hey ho. Tottenham at home to Newcastle, I would expect Tottenham would win 0 in that game. If Newcastle didn't score, no one will be surprised. And you could have basically bought, sold and bought Lloris into a great position of profit where he's going to net dividends, and then after that you could have your next goalkeeper lined up. Just as an example, somebody who's maybe had a rougher start to the season, and go put money into them, hold them for 30 days and do the same kind of thing over and over again, okay? So I think they're a relatively safe hold in a lot of respects. Goalkeepers don't really tend to drop dramatically. There will be drops post-match and pre-match depending on performances, as we've mentioned, but they don't have big swings. They don't get injured very often, they don't get suspended very often, and if you're buying the right ones, then there's a nice little marketplace there for buying low and selling high between a very small group of holds. And like I kind of mentioned before, I had the technical glitch. Once Football Index revamp the scoring matrix for PB and that type of thing, and if goalkeepers are offered some sort of advantage, or defenders are nerfed by comparison or something, I don't know, then you'll be holding somebody who will at that point be infinitely undervalued because the playing field is absolutely changed, but while you're kind of keeping that space warm, you're making that money work for you, slowly building up. It starts off at £25 with Robert Olsen, or £43 with Lloris or whatever, and then by the time that happens, maybe a year from now, maybe 18 months, could be tomorrow, you've had that money working up for you, and that could be a nice little kind of side movement thing that keeps you watching out for different teams as well, in different leagues and a different angle as well. Handanovic last season was crazy. Like, I had Neuer on the screen just before I recorded, but Handanovic was nuts last year. I bought and sold him probably about 3 times, just him. last season, 17 clean sheets out of 38 games. You know what I mean? It's mental. And he went on a run. And that's the season before again. The guy is brilliant, even though he's like 34 or something. Conte is only strengthening that defence up, by the way, if you look at the transfers Inter have made. Neuer was injured, we know, but still similar stats, 1 and 2 games, pretty much, clean sheets. So these guys are definitely. De Gea had a rotten season, so we're not going to look at De Gea. Let's even check out Chesney. I know Juventus are always classically good in defence. He's injured till mid. Okay, so that might be interesting actually. Let's see how he progresses with his recovery. And Buffon could be well undervalued because, as well, with the media being opened up now to be on the top 200, somebody like Buffon coming back and doing well, that could get you some headlines. And even just the extra attention, the extra media points drives capital appreciation, as we spoke about previously. Chesney's good for it as well. Pretty solid numbers. I love that Robert Olsen. He was quite interesting. I may even just buy Robin Olsen, by the way. His name just popped into my head while we were recording this. That's a bit low, isn't it? 4 clean sheets out of 27. Roma running that great last year. I wonder if they've sold Manolas. We need to look at Roma's team, but he is very, very cheap for somebody who could be a good clean sheet earner for you. I just want to look at Roma's defence before we close the video out, guys. So, should you buy goalkeepers? My answer to that is yes, but you have to be. I'd say keep your stable small. It might not be the same 3 or 4 I've spoken about all the top goalkeepers, right? You might find a little niche of that kind of second level goalkeeper, like a Lek Tommy or whatever that guy's name is, the guy in France. I think he's just moved to Monaco, or he's just made a big Lek Tommy or something like that. You might be operating with those guys. They're much smaller, bigger potentials for a rise. If you find a goalkeeper like a Robin Olsen, say you find somebody else who's 22 pence and they get 2 clean sheets in a month, they could easily become 30 pence, 40 pence, and that's a good percentage. The defence still looks very much the same as last year, but less. They've not got Manolas anymore. I don't know. Roma could be dodgy. Who's Atalanta's goalkeeper again? I know that guy Perrin just went to somebody. Juventus sold him. I wonder who they sold him to. Because he's a good goalkeeper statistically. If you look at Perrin's numbers, they're actually pretty good. Juventus has sent somebody on loan to Kilmarnock. Okay. Where is he? Perrin. No, let's see it. I'm sure he's a Juventus player and I let him go. Luca Pellegrini? I did not know that. I did not know that. Okay. Anyway, guys, goalkeepers, good things. If you're new around here, guys, and you've liked the video, subscribe to the channel, like, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning into the video today. Comments below. Goalkeepers, who should we keep an eye on? Let me know. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.